War is serious business, but throughout history, some military strategies have been downright bizarre. From animal armies to fake retreats, these are the top 8 weirdest military tactics ever used. Starting off at number 8, we have the war elephants. Imagine crossing icy mountains with a herd of elephants. Sounds wild, right? That's exactly what Hannibal did during the Second Punic War in 218 BC. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general, is famous for his audacious strategy of marching elephants across the Alps to surprise the Roman Republic. Why did he do it? Hannibal knew elephants could strike terror into the hearts of his enemies, but crossing the Alps was one of the riskiest moves in military history. The cold, rough terrain, and limited food made it incredibly tough. Out of his original 37 elephants, only a few survived the brutal journey. Yet, Hannibal's bold gamble nearly changed the course of history. Though it might seem like an odd choice, Hannibal's strategy remains one of the boldest and weirdest in military history. Who knew elephants could make such a splash in warfare? Next at number 7. Ever heard of the Spartan Crypteia? It's one of history's weirdest military strategies. In ancient Sparta, young men went through a secretive, brutal rite of passage called the Crypteia. What was it? Imagine a survival test combined with a secret mission. Spartans would send their most promising warriors into the wilderness, armed with nothing but a knife. Their mission? To live off the land and eliminate any helots, slaves who were part of the Spartan society, who dared to challenge their rule. It was a test of both skill and ruthlessness. Not only did they have to survive, but they had to be stealthy assassins, all while avoiding capture. The Crypteia was meant to keep the helots in check and instill fear. It's one of the weirdest, most extreme strategies ever used, proof that Spartan warriors took their discipline and dominance seriously. Next up, at number 6, we have flaming pigs. Yes, you heard that right. Back in 11th century China, the Mongols had a wild idea to scare their enemies. They used pigs as living firebombs. They'd set pigs on fire and let them run wild through enemy camps. Why pigs? Because the fire and smoke caused panic and confusion, disrupting enemy forces. It was a bizarre but effective way to create chaos on the battlefield. Imagine trying to fight while flaming pigs are charging at you. Definitely one of the most unconventional strategies ever. Next up, at number 5, Operation Mincemeat, one of World War II's most bizarre yet brilliant strategies. Imagine this, pretending a dead body is a spy. In 1943, the Allies needed to deceive the Nazis about their invasion plans, so they dressed a corpse as an officer, stuffed his pockets with fake documents, and set him adrift in the Mediterranean Sea. The body was found by Spanish fishermen, and believing it was real, the documents were passed to the Germans. The Allies hoped the Nazis would fall for it, and guess what? It worked. The Germans were convinced that the Allies would invade Greece, not Sicily. It was a wild gamble that paid off. Operation Mincemeat, a dead body, fake documents, and one of the weirdest tricks in wartime history. Next up, at number 4, let's talk about the Trojan horse, the ultimate ancient trick. In Troy, 1184 BC, the Greeks faced a huge problem: how to get inside the heavily fortified city. The answer? A giant wooden horse. The Greeks built this massive horse and hid a small army inside. They left it as a gift and pretended to retreat. The Trojans, thinking they'd won, brought the horse inside their city walls. That night, the Greek soldiers snuck out, opened the gates, and their army stormed in. The city of Troy was captured, all thanks to a wooden horse. Next at number 3, the Battle of Pelusium. It's one of the weirdest strategies in ancient warfare. In 525 BC, the Egyptians faced the Persian army, led by Cambyses II. The Egyptians were in a tough spot, but they had a quirky trick up their sleeves. Instead of traditional defenses, the Egyptians used shields decorated with images of cats. Why? Because cats were sacred to the Egyptians. When the Persians saw these cat symbols, they were reluctant to fight. Killing or harming sacred animals was unthinkable in their culture. This clever tactic caused confusion and hesitation among the Persian troops, giving the Egyptians a strategic advantage. Up next, a number 2, the Ghost Army. In 1944, the U.S. Army unleashed a secret unit called the Ghost Army. Their mission? To fool the enemy with nothing but tricks and illusions. They used inflatable tanks, sound effects, and fake radio transmissions to make it look like a massive force was advancing. Imagine a whole army of dummies and sound effects. The Ghost Army played mind games with the Germans, convincing them that the real action was happening somewhere else. It was all about creating confusion and misdirection. These clever tactics helped save lives and change the course of battles. It's like something out of a spy movie, only it was real. From inflatable tanks to fake radio chatter, the Ghost Army proves that sometimes the best weapon is a great illusion. Last but not least, the Battle of Castle Itter. On May 5th, 1945, at Castle Itter in Austria. As Allied forces were closing in, a strange alliance was formed. German soldiers, American troops, and even French prisoners of war all banded together inside the castle. The Germans and Allies were fighting side by side against a common enemy, the advancing SS troops. Why? Because they all had a shared goal, keeping the castle from falling into SS hands. Talk about an unusual team-up. For hours, this mixed group fought off SS forces in a surprising display of unity and strategy. In the end, their unlikely alliance helped secure the castle. And there you have it, the top 8 weirdest military tactics ever used. War is unpredictable, and sometimes it takes more than brute force to win the day. Which tactic surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange history.